Hi, I'm Garden Sound, and this is my wife Caroline, and today I'm going to be reviewing Mr. Bill's plugin, Slap. Ow! I'm not receiving any compensation for this review, but I did receive a copy of the plugin for free, and my review is slightly biased in that Bill is one of my best buddies, and I want to see him succeed. So all that aside, let's get into Slap. So if you can't tell, Caroline is going to hit me every time I say Slap. I'm not really much of a gear YouTuber, and plugin reviews for me have traditionally been something where I'm like, hey, here's a song that I'm working on, and here's how I see myself using that plugin in this song. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do now is use it to beef up some of the production in my upcoming album. That album's called Bird Rider. I'll put it here on the screen. Caroline, help me out with the woo here on the screen. All right, so I'm going to try putting Slap on drums. You
didn't see that one coming.
I'm going to try putting it on basses. We'll go through some of the features of Slap and what else. Oh! This is going to be terrible. You want to put Tiny Mr. Bill on my shoulder? All right, good. This is great. All right, so the first place I'm going to put Slap is drums. So I'm going to grab it here out of VSTs. It's really easy to install. It's a VST3. And what you got here is a whole host of things. So up in the top left corner, you see we've got this click. And over on the right-hand side, directly across from that, directly adjacent to that, we've got the output. And this is what's happening to the waveform that's coming in. So I'm going to solo my drums channel for now so that you guys can see what Slap is doing to it. Thanks, Caroline. Right. The highlighted part is what's being inserted into the signal, right? So the lighter part, right? Not the lighter part, because it's like visually brighter. There we go. The brighter part is what's being inserted into the waveform, and everything else is what's already happening, right? So as you see, if we turn the gain up on this click, you can see that the bright part of the click goes up, and it's dwarfing the rest of the waveform, so you're hearing a lot more of it. And if we turn it down, you'll see that the bright part goes down. What it's doing is it's replacing the transient on the it's replacing the transient of the waveform, like the very beginning, with this particular sound, which is called zaps, right? No, not zaps. It's called chirp, crunch. Zaps is the category, right?
Zaps.
So yeah, there's different categories in here. So you have clicks hard, which would replace the transient with a click. Right, that's not very useful for my drums. I could go into short stuff, right? Because my drums are already pretty clicky. So I'm going to turn click off in this case, which we can, so we can just turn it off. And you'll see that the waveform over here on the right has gone back to all being the same color tone, and we're missing that bright part that we had earlier. So it's not replacing anything, right? The transient's not being replaced. So directly below this transient shaper, we have all these other different effects plugins, right? And you can turn them on and off. You can move them around to change how they're being processed. I like the default routing usually, kind of like Serum's effects or Vital's effects. You can change the signal path of these. And you've also got a compressor down here for squash. You've got a low cut filter. You've got a tame knob, which I believe is some sort of a tonal soothing. We'll get into that a little bit later. If I find something that's a little bit too harsh, I can show you what that does. And we've got the wet dry for the effects right here. You can also gain and reduce down here. There's a master slider. Now that I'm done explaining the functionality, that's it, right? That's the whole plugin. That's the entirety of Slap. Let's start to use some of these and see how they sound. What do they offer us in terms of tonal palette? So starting with shape. Similar to what you'd hear if you were using the Beats mode in Ableton. Right? This is just increasing the level of the transient, and this is reducing the release or the decay of the noise. Not exactly useful for me in this case because my drums are already kind of doing that, but let's add some fattening to it. That's actually kind of nice. So you see this fatness here. I love these little pictures, man. The snap one has a hammer, you know what I mean? The fat one's a hamburger. Like, oh, you fucking fatso, you're eating hamburgers all day. I love hamburgers. We got fatness. We got the clap module here. It's adding like a shaker over top of things. I've already done that with a different plugin. I'm using the vocoder actually in Ableton to get that hiss out of my drums. So I don't really need any hiss right now or any high frequency information. So I'm going to turn clap off. I'm going to turn shape off. I like fatness. We'll come back to that. I liked what it was doing. Let's take a look at sub. That's nice. So this is essentially doing what Ableton's drum bus does with the it's not the sub. What is that? Is it called boost? Let me find that real quick. Drum bus. It's called boom, right? So the boom knob in Ableton's drum bus. It's got a tune knob, and it's got a length, so you can control the decay of the sound and the timbre. Let's just play with these a little bit so we can see what's going on here. I like that. So the timbre is sounds kind of like maybe a low pass filter, and the length is again controlling the decay. Let's take a look at spray. Now I think this is a reverb algorithm. Ooh, I find I miss that when that's not there. Did you like that on the sound?
I did.
It's almost like the dimension expander from Massive. I'm gonna leave that on. That's nice. All right, now clip. I think this is just like a rectifier, like a rectification distortion. All right, let me add fat back in. That's actually nice. So if I turn slap off, A/B it. It's actually pretty nice. Then we can squash it a little bit with a, with a little compression here. Tame. Now let's go over tame and see what this does. It's a bit of like an EQ soothe. It gets rid of the high frequency information if you got like too harsh of a tone or something going on up there where it's just like, it's a little grating on my ears. You could tame it with this knob. Now that's pretty neat. What we could do here if we wanted to get things going in parallel, I'm going to group this up and add a chain. So I have two of these. I'll have one without slap and then one with it. Ouch. So I'll put this all the way wet and then I can add it in. Apparently that's what all the Brits do. So shout out to you guys across the pond. Now let's see how he sounds in context. So I'm going to turn the rack off and we'll just hear the natty drums and then I'll turn it back on and we can A/B it. I mean, it's probably going to sound good because we're adding volume and our ears are stupid. And whenever we add volume, that sounds good. And we go, oh, louder, good. So I'm not expecting us to like the version without slap, but I am expecting us to like the version with it. Oh yeah, it's way better. We got to add a little bit more fatness. It's that wideness that the spray is adding, and like, I don't know, I think it sounds pretty fucking good. We're gonna leave this on. So,
I think it slaps.
You think it slaps? So Bill developed slap because he's always using stuff for his drums to kind of make them a bit more transient heavy and shapely. I got Bill right here. Now, let's go next to some unconventional things. Add slap to a bass or something like that to get that spray effect. I can see that being particularly useful. So I'm going to... How many times have I said particularly useful? God, you should slap me when I say particularly useful. This bass needs a bit more beef. I don't think it needs any clickety clicks, but let's keep it in context here. Let's keep it unsoloed, and we'll compare the two here. Actually, that's kind of nice. Let's do something different, like clicks hard. Ooh, that's actually kind of nice. Adding a transient like that, so I pitch it down a little bit and add a little bit less timbre to it. It kind of sounds like an FM bass all of a sudden. You hear how it's adding that little in the bottom? Gives it an extra dimension. I do like how wide it is. I bet clip is gonna absolutely destroy this thing.
System advises switching to guns.
All right, let's do that. Create a chain, and we'll just add it as a parallel effect. Let's add that to my upper as well. I'm like not talking. So the way you can tell if I'm enjoying something or not is by just like ignoring the thing, like ignoring the fact that I'm not talking to the camera like I'm supposed to be. Like I'm supposed to be telling you all what's going on, but I'm having like way too much fun playing with this shit. So yeah, no, so far thumbs up. Fucking totally distracting me from what I'm supposed to be doing because I'm enjoying using it. I think that's honestly the best review you can give a plugin. Let's use it on these drums. Fuck it, let's see if it sounds good on these drums. They need a little bit of fucking fattening up. Let's make them slap. They don't need the click. We already have a click in the song. I could just run the clip up a little bit. All right, without it. Boring. With it. In context. Way better. I'm gonna take it all off so we can hear how it sounds without anything. All right, here's no slap. Ow! Here's with it. Oh, fucked ya. Oh, so here's the shitty part. The shitty part about this is that I'm now realizing I have to go back through my entire album and put slap on things that I didn't know I needed it on. Oh! This is really starting to fuck with me. I'm going to have to end the review here.
Mr. Bill, I suggest that you call your next plugin Kisses.
Alright guys, that's been it for today. My name's GARDNSOUND and this has been my review for Mr. Bill's plugin Slap.
Switch to guns.
Oh!